TARDIS. On the central control panel was a small black box with a hole burnt in one side. The doctor picked it up. "We are in dire straits, young man," he said. "This is the energy distributor for the TARDIS, and it's gone to pot. No heat, no light, no power, nothing." "How long will it take you to repair it or make another one?" 3 or 4 days, the doctor shrugged. "Longer than we have to live. We'll freeze to death inside because as it becomes colder, the interior will turn into a cold storage room." "And outside we'll freeze to death anyway," Ian added. The doctor nodded. "Then I'd better find fuel for a fire to keep us warm." "Up here," the doctor exclaimed. "What do you expect to find?" "Heaven only knows," Ian replied, "but I must try." As Ian went to the door, the doctor asked him to send in Susan to help him. When Susan had gone, Ian told Barbara the truth of the situation. "What are we going to do?" she asked. "Follow those imprints. You go in one direction and I'll take the other, but not too far," he warned. "Remember how cold it is and you must be able to get back. So be careful and shield your eyes as much as you can against the glare." Barbara nodded and they set off in different directions. Ian spread out his gloved fingers and held his hands at right angles in front of his eyes, peering through the gaps as he followed the tracks. Barbara cupped her hands in front of her eyes, looking through the space between the sides of her palms and little fingers, which meant she had no lateral vision at all unless she turned her head from side to side. The snow was crisp and hard. Barbara thought it was probably very deep but packed, as her boots only sank into it as far as her ankles. Suddenly, she saw a second set of prints cutting across the ones she was following. She turned her head and saw a furry monster standing on its hind legs, staring at her. Barbara's cupped hands dropped down to her mouth and she screamed. It frightened the monster, which lumbered off down an incline and out of sight just as Ian stumbled breathlessly up to her. Barbara pointed out the direction it had taken. A monster, all fur except for its eyes, which were narrow slits, was standing upright and staring at me. A yeti, about your height. Then human, perhaps, wrapped up against the cold. I don't know, I was just so scared. Ian put his arm round her. "I'll take you back to the TARDIS." They retraced their steps and told the doctor and Susan what had happened. The doctor looked at Barbara. "Did you notice anything distinctive about it?" he asked. "Its eyes. They were narrow slits." The doctor turned back to Ian. "Snow blindness mask," he said, "which would mean it's human. And if that's so, there must be shelter nearby." "I agree with you, Doctor," Ian replied. "Then we'll shut the shop and follow the prince." The doctor was brisk and businesslike. Then he looked at each of them in turn. "After all," he added, "we've nothing to lose and everything to gain." The doctor pulled down the side flaps of his fur hat over his ears, tied the strings under his chin, put on a heavy pair of gloves, wrapped a scarf around his neck, and locked the TARDIS when they were outside. They made their way to the point where the tracks crossed, by which time the doctor was struggling for air. "So rarefied up here," he gasped. "Will you help me, Chesterton?" Ian took the doctor by the arm as they followed the second set of prints to the edge of the slope. "Look," Susan exclaimed. Below them, about 200 yards away, was a magnificently coloured tent surrounded by smaller, more simple ones. There were also 6 covered wagons with long-haired oxen huddled together. Ian tapped the doctor on his arm and mouthed the word, "Look," pointing to his own shoulder with his thumb. The doctor looked cautiously behind them. There were 7 fur-clad warriors with scimitars in their gloved hands. One of them, taller than the others and more richly dressed, stood slightly in front. Both Susan and Barbara gasped when they saw them. "Don't move," the doctor murmured, as the leader came towards them and silently inspected each one in turn. "We are travellers lost upon this mountain," Ian said, "and we ask you for shelter." He pointed to the tents as the man came out of the main one. The leader unbuttoned.